Hey guys, what's going on? I have been keeping myself to anywhere between 5 to 12 minutes, generally speaking, on these things, going over one or two plays. But I got a request after this past week's game, and so I kind of had to look into it. So this is going to be a little longer. We are going to be looking at Christian Watson's game, not the entire game, about 18 snaps. I think he played 54, so we're looking at roughly 30% of his snaps on the day, both in pass and run game. So we're going to look at this game against the Cowboys. So we know the big numbers. I'll just read them off here. We already know them. 4 catches on 8 targets. And we'll get to those. In here, we'll get to those, I guess. 4 catches, 8 targets, 107 yards, 3 touchdowns. Some really, really great stuff. I mean, huge numbers. Breakout game for the rookie. Yet to see if this is sustainable or not. But I kind of want to walk through again because I had a request to do this. And as I started going through, I had about 8 plays. And as I started walking through all his plays, like, I've got more than that. So we're even going through 18 of his plays. Again, it's going to be a little longer, but we're going to look at those from the Cowboys game. I'm going to split these up. We're going to be looking at the pass game first, and then we're going to look at the run game next. Pass game because I'm trying to kind of reel you in. I feel like that's kind of the more exciting portion of this. So we're going to look pass game, and then we're going to look run game. So we're going to get into it. I'll mute myself real quick so I can just cough for a minute. All right. So here's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to try to run through this, relatively quickly, but we're going to show the play first, and then we will talk about the play from there. So it's Christian Watson. This is going to be a target, and he's going to drop it in the middle of the field. And we're going to talk about that for a second. So there he goes. Dig route, bang, drop. Man, that sucks. I hope he rebounds at some point in this game. He will. So a couple things on this game. This particular place. This is, I don't know if it's the strike concept. Certainly looks a lot like it out of shotgun. So it's a play action concept. I think he's going to come across here. He's going to push in and run this dig. So this bang dig, call it play action bang dig if you prefer. Roger's going to hit his back foot. He's going to look to hit that dig. This from Lazard is supposed to be a clear out. So you're supposed to kind of just push vertically because you want to clear that boundary. As happens a lot so far this season, he's going to get bodied, and it's just going to absolutely kill the spacing. Rodgers gets a throw in, but it makes the spacing way tighter than it should be because he gets bodied there. This is a route they've had over the past couple of weeks. They've had Sammy Watkins running, and he's not been good with it. He's had a hard time getting off of the jams, and he's been taking I know Kurt Warner touched on this, something I talked about last week as well. What you need to do, you need to get inside on this and that dig so you can win, and then you get that cut, get that immediate cut. Sammy Watkins was taking an outside release, getting walled off, and there's nowhere to go. And on this concept specifically, it's basically a one-man concept. Like there's an alert on the outside, which is rarely thrown. You'll have checkdowns and stuff. But for the most part, it's a one-man concept. And so if this is out, it's bad. And so they got Watson running it. Even though they had Watkins running it, you have Watson running it. And so, again, Roger's going to hit his back foot, look to throw that dig. We'll keep our eyes on Lazard, kind of making that spacing a little tighter. And it's going to, what you're trying to do, you're trying to draw the linebackers up with the play action and then hit it behind him. There's going to be a real tight window there. So Rodgers has the opportunity to either hit that window real quick, or he can sit back and wait and try to hit a second window, but that becomes a little dicier, and he fires it in. So tough throw into a tight window. So again, you can see Lazard here. Look how all this is breaking down. I'm not going to spend this time with all of them, but maybe I will. We'll see. He's getting bodied, and there's 2 guys there. So again, it takes him kind of on an inside path. You've got this guy here. So this is where the spacing comes in. That guy there. And then Watson is already, he's going to cut a nice quick cut. That's what you want on this. A clean break. So that creates separation at the top of the route. But with this guy kind of breaking in, it makes that really tight, which we'll see from the end zone angle. So I just hit that back foot out of the break. He's got to whistle it past that guy's ear. He does. Goes and gets it. Hands away from his body. That's nice. Drops the pass. That sucks. And so we'll look at it from this angle here. So that's this is Watson. There. That's a bad circle, but I get used to that. And let's see. So he's going to stay. You can see here from this angle too, he's got inside shades. That's helpful because you need to push that inside shoulder to be able to cut on that dig. So the alignment there kind of helps us out here. Well, I guess it doesn't because there's motion, but it still helps because he still should have let that run before I started talking. That's dumb. I will make that mistake many more times. You see he's got the inside shoulder there. He pushes him straight up. That speed causes that back pedal. You can see that pretty clearly there. Roger's getting ready to hit that back foot, and he's going to fire. And you can see he's kind of looking. He's trying to move that guy a little bit. There's only so much you can do with that guy, but you have to get it past him because he's sinking under this. Nice throw. Hits him right in the hands, right where it needs to be, across the middle, up and away a little bit, away from the outside defender there, and he just can't quite get there. So that kind of sucks. Whatever. It's a drop. We move on. That's the first clip. This is going to be the next one. Now, I think this went down as a drop. This was another target. It's tough to call it a drop. This feels like more of a feel thing for me. So what this is going to be, and actually try to remember my own advice, throw is going to go to Watson on the outside. And so we're gonna look at that. It's gonna be kind of this comeback route. So this is the same type of thing, I guess. I don't know what I'm doing. Just let it play. Just let it play, Dust. You said you're gonna let it play. All right. It goes, hits the back foot, throws Watson the outside, incomplete. All right. So what are we looking at? So this is not exactly, the timing looks a little different, but some of the same basic idea. And this is one I actually wrote about for Cheesehead TV this week, because what you're looking for, that's not out yet, but that will be out a little bit after this releases. Lazard's got to motion down. They've had so many problems with guys jamming him. You kind of motion down, and then he gets under the stack, and then the ball is snapped before he's fully stopped, which gives him inside shoulder. And so he's able to kind of then take that and get that clean release on the dig. So the option here is on the play action dig, you can throw that. Or if you like that on the outside, this alert, this one-on-one matchup, you can take that one-on-one matchup. And we'll talk about kind of where that goes. And like I said, kind of a feel thing. And I always have up here kind of our little, I don't know, a little overlay up here. So this is first quarter, 9:39 left. 3rd and 5. The gain is going to be 0. The personnel is going to be 11. I'm not going to talk about that every single time, but if you want to reference at what point in the game this is, that is up there, just to let you know. So here we go. Motion down. He's going to run the dig. Now, this is what Rodgers is looking at. So you're checking this because you kind of like, we'll check that backside dig. You know you've got that if you can hold that guy here. So you can always come back to this later if you want to. This is not the exact same concept we just looked at. It's not a one-man concept, but you're running this. I think he's going to run inside there. But it just kind of looks like a vertical takeoff, and then he's going to curl back in. I think Rodgers wants him to cut back out there. That looks like an arrow. It's not what I intended. So what Rodgers is looking at, he's kind of checking this. He's pushing this guy. That speed forces movement. So speed forces him out. You can see his hips are turned there. Now to create ideal separation on this, so I don't know what the call plays or what the play calls for here, I guess. Watson kind of curls in. The ball is thrown out here. Now, I don't know if this is a miscommunication. I don't know if it's a bad throw. My gut feeling from this is that based on the leverage of that defender, Rodgers is throwing not necessarily back shoulder, because this is not a go route. Back shoulder is only like when you're running vertically. I think he's saying he's looking at the leverage there, and he's saying, well, if I throw it over here, that's a tougher path to get for this guy to get to. So again, that's a read based on feel and leverage. I don't know if that's coached. That's the way that we've seen this run before, and based on leverage, that makes sense there. So I think Rodgers is throwing that comeback route on the outside to the sideline, and you can see kind of Watson curls in at this point, and kind of steps as Rodgers is getting ready to throw. He's curling in. Rodgers anticipates the curl out, and so Watson does get his body back around. He's turned, dives, gets his hands on the ball, but can't make the catch. Again, I don't know if that goes down as a drop. I know a lot of people were saying this was a drop, at least live, because of the other one that just happened, the previous one. But to me, this looks more like a kind of a miscommunication, or Rodgers anticipating based on leverage that comeback route to the sideline, and Watson ran it to the inside. Still gets his hands on it. That you can see that big wide frame there, able to go up and grab it, hits him in the hands. Maybe we can call that a drop, whatever. To me, it's if that's a comeback route, that's an easier completion. So that's where I kind of sit on that one. This is not a target. So this is going to be, we'll point him out right here. This one will probably go a little quicker on. I think he's just going to get vertical. There we go. He just gets vertical up the field. So this is one that is my notes. I've got some notes up in front of me here. My notes on this one, he's just too fast to jam. That's basically my notes on this one. Single high safety, which is what the Cowboys were running a lot of. 70+% of their snaps in the game were either in cover 1 or cover 3. So it is single high safety in this game, which they run it more than other teams. That's their highest mark of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So one of the problems the Packers receivers have had this year has been being able to get off a jam. The teams will just play that cover one, press coverage up, get your hands on, misdirect. We saw that with the first one with Lazard getting pushed inside. You're either misdirecting or you're jamming them and they're throwing off timing, you're throwing off rhythm, you're throwing off the routes, all this stuff. And the Packers have not shown they can beat it. There's ways that you can beat it, but they've not been able to consistently do that either. And so teams are just kind of going up and mugging them a little bit. This one here, we'll just watch the release here of Christian Watson, because he's going to, let's see, get this little reverse action, that little yo-yo action from DeGuara in the backfield, kind of that step out. And watch him first step, kind of a jab step out, cut back inside, and then 3 tries to get his hands on him. I mean, he's got hands, and if this is someone else, if this is Lazard, or I think that's Tunyon right there, you get misdirected. The problem is you can't really get hands on him too much, because as he's trying to get him, he's already past him. And now you've got Tunyon's kind of releasing through here, which draws up the single high safety. So he's kind of up there. You've got Watson beating the jam, basically because he's too fast to be jammed at this point with a little jab step. You get one little kind of hesitation move, and then he's gone. He splits the safety and the defensive back. Rodgers already has it out at this point. Pocket looks good, but starting to break a little bit. So he takes the easy one to Tunyon. They end up picking up 8 yards on first down there. So not a bad decision. But that's one of the things Packers were missing. They're getting jammed to the line. They're getting mugged at the line. Watson with one little move, getting skinny and then getting upfield. The guy tried to get his hands on him. The guy did get his hands on him. He was just too fast to engage, too big, too strong to engage. And so we saw that quite a bit. So you can see him here. He's getting tugged right there. He's got the back of that jersey. He's getting tugged, and he's still running him down the field. Just too fast, too big to jam. Not to say that he cannot be jammed, but just say with that, we saw quite a bit of this. Again, some of these, we're not looking at every single play. I chose these to show indicative of kind of what he was doing on the field. That's one of the things that he was doing on the field is they had a hard time jamming him simply because I think he can get a better release package, but he's got a decent enough release package. And then you combine that with his size and speed, and it's really hard to jam a guy that's that big, that fast, that can force a reaction from you at the line. So I want to show that one. This one here is going to be the long touchdown here. So this is going to be a go route. He's going to get inside. I'll watch this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more. And then he's just going to kind of get over the top. He's just fast, just really fast. Actually, I'm going to mute this for a second, get a little drink of water. So here we go. Gets up on him and just outruns him. Just fast. All right. So what's the release? And he makes a nice catch there. The coaches' film is they cut off a little early because they don't like to have fun. This is for coaches. This is not for fun. So you don't get to see the backflip, which seems like a bit of a shame. So we're going to see, and again, we're not really going to talk about anything else. We're just going to talk about that matchup. You've got single high over here. So maybe they could drop. We saw the Lions did a lot last week with this invert coverage. Maybe you can drop a guy over there. So maybe instead of single high, you can go too high. That's not what they're doing here. Maybe they could, but even then, you're not getting over the top of Christian Watson if you're dropping from the line. And this guy is aligned, whatever it was, 15 yards away from. He's two, that side to that 2-stack receiver. I think that's actually 3 over there. So it's the passing strength. He's single high aligned to the passing strength because you have 3. You've got that single back just aligned back there. So it's true ISO, man. It's do I think this guy can win? That's what it comes down to. And again, he's got just enough of a bag right now to get that release going. So he push up, force that back pedal. He doesn't try to get hands on him. Just force that back pedal. Get inside right there. Get past him. Again, can't get hands on him. Rodgers hits that back foot, and he's already past him. You throw that up and over. He leaves himself enough room to fade that. So again, this is one of those, if you're to the outside sometimes and you can take an inside release, you have to have the speed to get back over the top. So that side of the field is available to you. If you take an outside release, a lot of times that's hard because they can pin you to the sideline. So the inside release, if you want that, I don't know if that's ideal, but that's certainly what he's looking at here. But then you need to get over the top if you're going to do that, because then you need to be able to get over the top, or else If that guy there, if he's able to recover, the throw's got to be here. Whereas if you're able to get up over the top, say like here, you can fade that to the sideline a bit if you need to. And Watson has the speed to do that. Gets up over the top. Rodgers with a really, really nice throw. Little over the shoulder basket catch from Christian Watson there. Spin the ball, backflip, which again, not on the coach's film because coach's film is not for fun. So there we go. Toss it up. Great catch. Perfect throw right on the money. And there we go. So that's the long touchdown there. Now we will move on to another. It's not a drop, but it's a miscommunication. So this is going to be, or not miscommunication. Watson just loses it. So we've got 11 personnel, trips over here. You still have the single high. We'll run it, and then we'll kind of get back into it a little bit here. You can see a little bit of respect for the speed there. Now, granted, some of this is just trips, so you don't want to get killed by the rub there, but he's giving him a little bit of space. You get a little bit of space if you want to get vertical. You got to eat up that cushion real fast. So he goes, take off, turn him, and he's just faster, man. That's a great throw, front pylon. Watson just slows and doesn't see it. So let's run this back and we'll take a look again. So what they're going to be running, they're going to be running a mirrored smash fade with slight differences over there. And then you're going to be running kind of in. You got these two over here, in cut, and then that fade route there. Again, it's going to go to Watson. We know it's going to go to Watson. Single high aligned on the hash, even with Rodgers, which makes him away from Watson there. So we're going to watch this release. And the way he kind of eats up his cushion, just push vertically. You can see the respect that he has. I mean, he's 5 yards. He's turning. He's running. Even then, he turns and runs. Rodgers is ready to throw right there. Got that back shoulder dipped. Chucks that up. Watson is able to outrun his guy. And if he keeps running where Rodgers wants him to go. He's right there. I think the ball hits right at the pylon. He looks back, slows down a little bit. So, I mean, it looks like they're even right there. Watson has him dead to right earlier, and you can see that. He's got him right there. He's already got him. Even he's leaving. If he keeps running full speed, Watson has him by a solid yard by the time he gets down there. He slows down, tries to corral it, can't quite get there. Really great catch. And again, I mean, a good route, way to kind of eat up the space there, get that outside release, give your space, get the outside fade, give yourself room to the sideline for that ball to go and just outrun your guy. He's able to do that pretty easily. It's just, he gets a loss when he looks back for the ball. So not great tracking there. I don't think, based on what I've seen from him in college and what I've seen from him, his limited time in the pro so far, I don't think he has a problem tracking the ball over his shoulder. We saw the over the shoulder one earlier. I think he does have an issue with the hands, which we're not, we've kind of touched on that a little bit. You can fix that. I'm not overly concerned about that. I don't think he has a problem with tracking. So I'm not sure if this was, he didn't think it was coming his way. If he looked back, lost it in the lights, if he, whatever happened, something happened here that caused him to slow down, which stinks. But hopefully that can get cleaned up. But as far as route goes, that's real nice. Here's another one. It's another target. Going to be, is he on the bottom or is he up top? I think he's up top. All right. No, he's on the bottom. My bad. All right. So he's going to push up. Now, this one was really interesting to me because this is one, I'm over on the whole thing. Sorry. He throws. Rodgers throws back shoulder. He goes back for it. He doesn't read it the same. I'd say Watson doesn't read it the same, and that's true. And I kind of wonder how much of that is just, again, you hate to harp too much on it, but man, when you got to get as fast as Christian Watson, you kind of harp on that a little bit. So this is going to be kind of an ISO route. He's got this split here, so you can get that outside release and still leave yourself room on the sideline. He's going to take an outside release. Now, typically, and we'll pause this here in a second, typically what will happen, if you like that ISO, which Rodgers does, you've got this kind of like clear out with a shallow crosser underneath, but it's 1st and 10. Rodgers looking to take a shot in 1st and 10. If you've got this coverage with a guy with perfectly fine speed, you're going up here, and I say this as someone who's watched Rodgers for years and football around the league and kind of what they'll do. You've got outside shoulder, and he's kind of pinching him over the top there. So he's pinching the outside shoulder. He's got him over the top. that leverage there, a lot of times what they'll do, you throw, maybe not there, but you'll throw that back, you'll have that and throw back shoulder, because if he's going to keep this outside leverage, that's really hard to throw over the top. So you throw back shoulder, they get the yardage there. Rodgers and Devontae Adams made a living at that. The thing with Christian Watson is so fast; he eats up this space so much faster than maybe they're used to. So where Rodgers is expecting this leverage to kind of stay the same, that got to be over the top shoulder, him to kind of play this and you throw back shoulder. Watson's just going to outrun him, and so by the time the decision is made early, but this is just something to keep an eye on going forward with something like this, or something I know I'll be keeping an eye on going forward. Rodgers releases that, and now you can see where they're at. That ball can go up over the top. That ball can go there. So instead of throwing back shoulder, with the speed of Watson able to kind of get to the outside and beat that guy, you're destroying that angle. You're destroying that leverage that typically you read that and you say, I'm throwing back shoulder. But right there with that matchup, that's something you can go over the top with, because Watson is gaining. I mean, he turns back there, but again, you can see he's ready to blow by the guy. Ball's in the air already. So Rodgers is throwing, I think, back here or something. He's looking back shoulder. He's already beaten this guy. So if Rodgers puts his ball out here, Watson's able to run out and run into that ball. So just something to keep an eye on going forward. Faster than some of the other guys he's had running that route before. So Rodgers used to throwing back shoulder on that. Maybe this is something going forward. He's like, well, I see that leverage. I know what I used to do. Watson can destroy that. I'm going to throw that over the top. And you get a bigger play that way. Throw back shoulder. You're right there. You've got, maybe there or something like that, 10 to 15 yard range or something on that back shoulder one. If you throw up over the top, man, if he's able to outrun that guy, maybe you got a touchdown. Maybe at the very least, you want 20 or 30 yards or something like that. So just something to keep an eye on. Something that, again, Rodgers not used to having necessarily at his disposal. You're kind of used to that back shoulder. So if you got a guy that you can beat vertically or can beat guys vertically over the top, kind of wonder if that changes how he looks at that matchup going forward. They're still new, still feeling each other out. So I'm kind of curious to see how this progresses as they go on. All right. Next one. We've got, I'll let this play. Here he is down here, just to kind of circle him out, watch him, and then we'll talk about it. I'm telling myself to remind myself to keep doing that. So there it goes. Little stalk block, gets vertical, runs that dig. Rodgers ends up running. All right. So we have got this. It's 11 personnel, but they've got, they're spread wide, which means your 11 personnel will be tunning out there. You've got Jones over there as the underman in the stack. He's going to kind of stalk block. So in case they're looking for some kind of bubble or wide receiver screen, if maybe they're looking to jump that, kind of a stalk block, push vertical, hit the dig is what he is doing. And this is, see my notes here. I've got this tagged, I believe, is like a mesh concept. Is that this one or is that another one? I might have this messed up with another one. No, that's right. That's right. So what they're doing on the mesh concept here, and Rodgers again ends up running it. So what they're going to do is they're going to cross. It gets here, and then he's going to work as that dig route over the top with that stalk release, kind of push that guy out a little bit, show him an outside release, push inside, maintain that leverage there. Sink and break at the top. So it's kind of I feel like that could be a little quicker, maybe a little extra English at the top of the stem there to break out there, but still, due to his speed and that nice hard break there, is able to kind of create separation. That's not there. You've got that guy in the middle, so it's not going to go there. But overall, rep seems to be pretty good. And again, let's watch the top of the route there. I think that went a little fast. All right. Here it goes. Yeah, maybe a little extra step there, but I don't know what the coaching point is. But I think it's just running a little dig. Nice little round of the dig there. So I like that. Here's we'll move on to 4th and 6. I think everyone knows what this play is going to be. This is going to be another big touchdown to Christian Watson as the underman or the outside man in the bunch. That crisscross release goes up over the top. Beautiful catch. Rodgers hits him perfectly. Nice layered throw up over the top there. So we have got, this. I think these guys are going to kind of break out. You've got this little box look over the top here. This 3-on-3. Watson, really great route here. So he's going to kind of, go underneath there, and we'll watch him as he goes, because he's going to kind of stack the guy in the middle, kind of fake like he's crossing, set him up, go up over the top. He's got him crossed up a little, so he thinks this is going to be a crosser, which it could have been. It is not. It could have been, but these guys kind of up here, kind of looking, But instead of that, he's going to go over the top. Again, I don't know what this play call is. Maybe that's the call. But he sets him up, gets him uneven, goes up over the top. Has the speed again to fake, go up over the top, turn his guy, and still get over the top of that guy there. He's got that speed to set him up. And we'll watch that little move there. Gonna break in, up over the top, break to the outside. Rodgers is throwing. So again, set him up there, gets him a turn, goes up over the top, has the speed to then beat him over the top, and now puts us here. Rodgers is going to lay that ball out. You've got that safety. Talk about him in a second. Actually, we'll go back to him. That single high safety there. He's backing up. With this push, that does a couple different things. So again, instead of running that crosser underneath right there, he pushes vertically, moves that guy. That also sells a vertical route here. So that moves that safety there because of that speed. And now, since he's got that moved, he's able to cut that back over the top because he's got the speed to get over that defender. Gets over top of him. So now he's moved. He's able to get over. He sets up that middle defender. By getting over the top of him and threatening vertically, moves that single high safety to the point where he can now go. And by the time this ball is in the air, and you can see Rodgers right there with his arm, ball's in the air, safety is pointed that way. And Watson is creating separation once again over there. Beautiful throw. Touchdown. Great route by Watson to set up not one, but two guys. And again, the speed to get over that guy after setting it up, where it looks like he's going to run that drag, push vertical, and still get over the top of him. You can see him right there working outside. Then get up over the top. Just tremendous work from Watson there. Good patience from Rodgers to hang in. Actually, yeah, we don't really need to talk about that. We are not talking about Rodgers right now. We're talking about Watson, so we don't need to look at the protection or any of that because I'm going long enough as it is. We haven't got to the run game yet, but really great work from Watson on there. I mean, just tremendous work from him there. So, got two more plays in the pass game, and then we'll move run game. Here he is here. This is third down. Ball's going to go to him on a shallow drag. Run this back. There we go. All right. I'm going to go and goes down low to catch it. Nicely done. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at, again, this is a 3rd and 2, man. This is a big 3rd and 2. They're going to kind of clear out this area over here a bit, I think. Push out. He's going to cross underneath, which I'm not sure exactly what coverage the Cowboys are in, but he's going to run with Dobbs. Diggs is going to pass this off to the middle once he declares inside, so some kind of match coverage. It's going to get picked up by Leighton Vander Esch, who's bumped off a little bit early, but you can see Watson there. He's running, not running full speed, just kind of waiting. He's not really settling down to a zone, but he's also not going full speed and just flying across the field. He's playing it up a little bit, and then Rodgers throws that low because if he throws high, Vander Esch is going to take his head off. So throws low. Watson's able to get down, catch the ball, protect himself from Leighton Vander Esch. So we'll see this here. I mean, this is good. This is perfectly fine. This is something that you talk about like the MVS comps when people are saying, well, Christian Watson's MVS. This is stuff they wouldn't really have MVS do. I think to some extent maybe he could, but as far as the twitchiness of the short area stuff, he did not have what Watson has. So while he had the speed, they're always hesitant to use him on some of the shallower stuff because he's limited in there as both a route runner and somewhat as a receiver, which no knock on him. MVS does a lot of things well, but this is something that even with that speed, we never really saw MVS do. So Christian Watson able to kind of, again, slow play this instead of flying straight across the field. He's not really settling down, but he knows what he's doing. He's looking back at Rodgers. I'm making myself available. I'm here. I see you. just kind of slow playing it, and then he's able to kind of see the ball. And again, Van Der Esch coming here, so Rogers puts it low, where Watson is able to get down, bend himself, pick up 3 yards on 3rd and 2. Nicely done there. All right, last passing play, which is again going to be a touchdown. Probably won't say too many words about this one. That's the worst circle I've drawn yet. There he is. All right. So this is just, I've got one note next to this. Just fast. Just that's all I've got written down. So he's going to just push inside and just outrun everybody. I mean, sometimes it's as simple as that. In the red zone, listen, man, you can get cute. You can drop a whole bunch of stuff. I am a sucker for well drawn up red zone plays. I'm sure a lot of you are. But listen, man, you've got 2 defenders here. You've got no one back over here, and you're just going to run Christian Watson. No rubs, no nothing. He's not the underman in the stack. You're not moving this guy and then running Watson underneath. You're not doing any of that. You're just saying, we're going to have him push inside, get inside leverage, and then he's just going to be faster than you guy. And if any of these guys drop, he probably widens that a little bit more to the pylon, but he doesn't really need to. He's just going to get inside. Once he has it, these 2 guys here, no one's dropping. There we go. Give him little teeth. That's how happy I am to have that. And he just outruns them. Again, sometimes you can look at all this stuff and say, look at all these great things, look at all these great schemes, look at all the stuff they did. Sometimes when you have someone that big and fast, sometimes you just say, just go be big and fast and get inside and do some stuff. So that's the passing game. That was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm going to mute myself again real quick just so I can get a drink of water. But then we are going to move to the run game. So actually what I'm going to do, so that you're not just sitting here watching me drink and be awkward, which I don't know, I'm awkward enough talking, I guess. He's going to be here. I believe that's him. So we are going to just run this while I mute myself, and then we'll talk. And that's him. All right. So what are we looking at here? I brought the kids brought home from something from school, so I'm fighting a little something here. I'm going to throw up. I did not do this for the passing stuff, but let's go ahead and do this into the overlay. I don't like putting my play concept stuff up here just because I will likely get critiqued by people who know more than me. These are the general buckets I put these stuff in, and for a run game, I like to kind of level set myself. So I've got this tagged. It's kind of a wide zone run, which is just what I was going to say staple of the floor offense. I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore. They run a lot of power these days, but whatever. Wide zone, you hand it off, you kind of meet him there. He looks for a spot to pick, and we're just going to watch Christian Watson. What he did so well at NDSU, one of the things they really asked him to do, because they didn't throw the ball a lot there, and he was explosive when they threw the ball, but they did a lot of running, which means he came in to the league knowing more about run blocking than the typical wide receiver would, because a lot of those wide receivers, they don't have to do the stuff they do at NDSU. So there's still some stuff to learn, but he came in already with a little more run game polish than maybe some other wide receivers, which is one of the appealing things to him in the floor offense. So he's going to kind of come up here, lines him up, slow plays it a little bit, but he's getting his guy lined up. Kind of read them, because at this point you're not sure exactly where it's going to go. That wide zone, you can kind of split everything out, and then he's able to kind of see, and he can look for cutbacks or anything. So you're not sure exactly where everything's going to go. So Watson's got him in front, kind of stalking him a little bit. Once it gets declared, as he starts trying to break to the edge to head this off, as Jones tries to head around the edge, Watson is able to use his speed, get out in front, not block him in the back. He's got him on the shoulder there. Get him in good position. He's got him on the shoulder, and then just block him out of the play. And the tackle comes before that, but his guy ends up on the ground. Again, stalks him, watches him. We'll watch it again. We'll just watch what he does, kind of talk through it, run up, line up, stalk, got him, block him. I guess his guy is not the guy that ends up out of bounds. That's on me. That's that's what Aaron Jones does to a man. So Aaron Jones team up with Amari Rodgers, kind of toss a man out of bounds there, but again, lines up, He's in control, even if he's not necessarily blocking the guy. Waits to see which way he determines. Then he locks him on. Not illegal. Kind of gets him from the side. Uses that speed. We can see him there. The guy's trying to get outside. He's trying to use his hand. Christian Watson's able to get inside of that shoulder there and block him down. So I don't know if that's the greatest rep in the world necessarily. You might like a little contact a little bit before that, stay in front of your man. But the fact that this is where this ends up, and maybe you create a lane back there, that's not awful for a rookie wide receiver. I will absolutely take that, even if, and some of the run blocking specifics, I'm not super clear on how everything should happen, but I think I'm going to mark that as a pretty good rep for him. So we're going to look, here he is here. And how actually we'll run this, then we'll talk about it. That's what we do. We run this and we talk about it. And they're going to run it back the other way. And they run back, to the middle, to the left. But I just want to take a look at what they do with coverage bumps. So he's going to be here. This is not necessarily just true of Christian Watson. This is one of the reasons you use motion. They bump the coverage. So he's going to follow. They bump this guy over. They make a check at the line. They do some stuff there. Now he's going to come over here. You see Trayvon Diggs is saying something. You run 3 over. So he's running over the top with that motion. But also, because of the speed, you have to respect that. You've now taken him. So he's running over. He's also widening here. And he does that looking at Christian Watson there. So you get that you remove that guy from the run fit as a result of, this is something, again, one of the reasons you use motion on run is for stuff like this, to kind of bump that stuff over, create miscommunication errors at the last minute before the run goes in or pass, whatever. That's the reason you do this motion stuff. It works better when you have a guy like Christian Watson, who you have to respect the speed. I mean, they would run, back in the day, they run Geronimo Allison on that. And at a certain point, teams would just say, what are they going to do if they give it to him? But it doesn't matter to us. If he gets outside, one of our guys will chase him down. Like, you need nothing against Geronimo Allison. Very good as a UDFA. But when you get special speed like that, a guy who ran a 4.28 at the combine, or whatever it was he ran, teams have to respect that a little more. And so you widen that a little bit more than you would under someone else. Again, that's something that you get with speed that you don't get without speed. And it doesn't end up paying off here, but it's an example of, again, that speed, that motion helps maybe remove a man from the box there that maybe you're not removing otherwise. But we're going to look at this one here. This is one of my favorites on the day. Here he is. No, it's not him. There he is, outside. Should know better than this by now. We have this little wind back by DeGuara. And we're going to sweep outside. Kind of a power look without power. You're not really pulling anyone other than DeGuara. But we're going to look at, we saw Watson. So let's watch him again. So what the Packers are going to do here, they're going to be running this way. And actually, I'll run it back a little bit more. So what they're going to do with DeGuara is they're going to kind of motion him down, bring him back, and then snap the ball. And then he's going to act as a lead blocker. They're not going to be pulling anyone, but you're going to have a pin down, not necessarily a pin down, but Lazard's going to kind of usher, that's DeMarcus Lawrence. He's going to usher him kind of back into the backfield, just kind of get that shoulder and nudge him. Watson's got the job of pinning down here. Now, what they want to do, you're trying to get Nyman out, and this is where, and we'll see this from the other angle, to block Micah Parsons. And that's where some of the motion, we'll see this from the other angle, that's where this gets a more advantageous blocking angle. One of the reasons they will use a lot of motion, a lot of teams will use motion, it's to create these more advantageous blocking angles on a run play when you're running. That's what we use motion for your linemen, for running back, fullback, whatever. And that's what they're doing here, and they actually get that here, but it doesn't quite pay off. But Watson is going to be pinning down, if not necessarily exactly as anticipated, or I guess he is, sorry, but Parsons gets over the top. He blocks here, locks up his man. That's Nyman. He's not able to get on Parsons. Parsons is able to get over the top. So ideally how this works is you get Nyman, and we'll kind of do here. Nyman would take him out. You've got blocking down here. Lazard has pinned him down here. You now have DeGuara out in space against Trayvon Diggs, against your boundary, and now you've got him coming out here. So ideally, that's what you're looking at. Now, what ends up happening is Parsons gets loose on Nyman, and that is important. We'll talk about that in a second, even if it's not necessarily Watson related. He scrapes over the top, so DeGuara has to pick him up, which means that he has to meet Jones meets Diggs on the boundary as opposed to meeting this safety. So kind of that block, the missing of that block limits a little bit. But again, Christian Watson, good rep, because what he's supposed to be doing on the outside as part of this pin down, he ushers down Watson, seal him inside, seal that man inside, open up for DeGuara coming back around. That's what you're trying to do. And he does his job, and he does it quite well, if I do say so myself. So what I like about him, not only is he knows what he's doing, but he's a big, strong guy, and he knows how to do his assignment. So here he goes. Gets him, he's this guy. He's not necessarily looking at him, but that's kind of what you're looking for. He's looking at the run. Watson gets him, stays in front. Maybe you could argue he could be a little stronger in holding him there, but I think that's a pretty good job. That's exactly what he's supposed to do. The edge is open. If everything goes according to plan, this is where he is. So again, if Parsons is not outside, so X that out. That doesn't happen. Just color everything out there. The only guy you have to deal with is Diggs. And you've got this haul out here. The fact that Parsons is able to get out, he's able to scrape over the top. That leads DeGuara here, which now I've got that all X'd out. That leaves DeGuara here. So instead of that outside angle, which perhaps he could still take, but that gives Diggs a better angle here, that leads Jones cutting back inside, which then gives Watson back as part of the fit. Ultimately, I think on this rep, Watson does his job, and he ends up kind of being back in it through no fault of his own. But I mean, this is when I think of what Watson can give this team. We looked at all the stuff in the passing game, the speed, what he's able to give you there. This is the stuff as they kind of move to this power stuff, as the Packers lean heavier into their power run game as the season goes on. As we've seen this year, they've leaned into it more than they have in any year under the LaFleur era. Everyone knows. Even if you just follow the Packers a little bit, LaFleur loves his wide receivers to block. If you get a guy like Christian Watson, who's not only a willing blocker, but a good blocker as a rookie that can also has elite speed in the pass game, that can open up just a world of wonders. So before we get done with this play, I'm just going to talk about this block here, because this is what ultimately hamstrings the play. I know we're talking about Watson, but I got to talk about this. So right now, Nyman's supposed to seal off Parsons, which to the outside run, that's tough because you have to reach. So you use motion by DeGuara, get him inside. So then even when this comes back, because he reverses, he gets to that point and reverses. Nyman, perfect angle. He takes a step in. You can see right now. I'm not sure why this is. I'm not going to pontificate why this is. These guys are all releasing down. I think he just wants to meet him head up, but he can't get there. If he is able to angle out and get that seal, suddenly, and again, you've lined him up. That motion got the look you wanted. Doesn't quite get there. He's not able to get there, but there's Watson right there, right in the middle of it, man. We'll see him make contact here. I think we'll see him from this angle make contact. His guy's going to be 27. So he's just out of frame now. Here he comes. Gets his hands on. Locks him up. All he does is got a job. Good rep. All right, took a little while on that one. So let's get back to moving here. Let's see. There. And this time we'll run Lazard in the jet motion. Run block. Same thing, man. I mean, not the exact same thing, but he kind of makes, he makes contact. They're going to run this little kind of pitch. It's wide zone. I've got wide zone. Really, that I typically put that as outside zone pitch, but I was lazy this week. Not that anyone particularly cares. He's going to go up and just again do his job. He gets up on the line there, makes contact with 26, holds him. This is another one where I don't like to be a stickler for wide receiver blocking, because generally I'm okay with, as wide receiver blocker, man, if you're willing and you're getting in the way, to me, that's doing your job. If you know what you're supposed to be doing and you get in the way, that's okay. You're going to get pushed around a little sometimes. An elite blocker, you kind of want to be a little better than that. But as a rookie, I think he does perfectly good job. I like what he does here. Again, he knows what he's supposed to do. He sorts through the assignment. He looks through. He gets on 26. locks him up, pushes him downfield, misdirect. Great rep at the point of attack. Let's see, where are we here? He's going to be front man of the stack. It's up. This up. There you go. Just get inside position, push, stay with him. He disengages a little on this one, kind of before maybe he's ready, but at the same time, you're not asking a guy to hold the block for 20 seconds. So he just needs to get, they're going to be running inside to get to the inside position of that man there. Block him out, man. That's what you're looking for. He gets inside position, blocks. Again, he gets over the top. Maybe doesn't lock up quite as well as you would like. That's one thing. You don't want him to hold, but stay in front, lock him up a little better than that. He's kind of out of position. Lets this guy get past him. I mean, great run by Dylan. This is 17-yard gain. Couple times, Dylan. I don't say anything about Dylan. I love AJ Dillon. This was a great run by Dylan. Tremendous run by Dylan. So we will look at it from this angle, and you can see Watson here. Already got his man again, doing what he's supposed to do. Turn, get that inside leverage. Now the key is to maintain the inside leverage. So he does get inside, but he gets those arms. I can't get to a good point here. Arms extended, and you can see right there, he's not in the body. He's on the arms, which again, I don't want to be a stickler too much for wide receiver blocking, because a lot of times some of this is somewhat performative. You guys got your arms on each other. You pretend to block me. I pretend to block you. I try to get away, blah, 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 blah. Whatever. I try not to be a stickler for that stuff. Instead of getting to the body, arms in the chest, which ideally you would like to see, it's arms on arms, which allows his defender to rip through and over and ultimately get in on a tackle. So again, I don't think that's a bad rep by any stretch of the imagination. He gets in, takes care of his initial job, and eventually the guy gets loose, and that's going to happen. But again, what I'm looking for in wide receiver blocking, especially out of a rookie, or say what I'm looking for, is you basically, do you know the couple things? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing? Do you look lost? Do you know what your assignment is? Are you a willing blocker? Do you try hard? That's really what I'm looking for in every single rep. And again, we look at 10 pass reps. We're looking at 8 run reps. We got 3 to go. We're almost done. Promise you that. All I'm looking for in the run stuff is, do you know what you're doing? Do you ever look lost? Are you a willing blocker? So far in all these, even something like this, we're like, yeah, probably it's not textbook. He knows what he's supposed to be doing, and he's a willing blocker, and he gets there. A couple things that need to be cleaned up there for sure, but nothing major. And for a rookie blocking the run like this, that's pretty impressive. So again, kind of what we hoped would be coming out of NDSU. Kind of the same thing there. Lets him go a little bit, but it's the same kind of idea. He's supposed to. You're running kind of this inside zone away from there. I think they're going to be running up there. Get inside. Again, to go with that. Do you know what you're doing? Do you know what your assignment is? But his assignment, get inside position and get in front of your man. And yeah, again, out of position a little bit. It's arms. He gets up over the top. Ultimately, the play's dead before he gets there. But if the play ends up going, that guy has a good chance at making a play. He's not able to stay in front. Probably ding him for that a little bit. However, and looking at, again, rookie blocking, he knows what he's supposed to be doing, and he's a willing blocker, and he does that. So kind of gets beat a little on this one. Again, I want to show some of the good and the bad. I don't even necessarily think this is bad. It's just it's less than good, I guess. But as far as like the threshold of what I'm looking for from a rookie, say Wookie wide receiver blocking, we'll just keep saying Wookie, I guess. That I think he does pretty well, even if that's not the best run rep from there. But again, I did want to show that because he did have some of those. These past 2, like those are going to show up. That's not necessarily bad tape. That's something that happens. It's just that's something to clean up. But that was something that showed up. But if that's the worst thing that you do as a run blocker, as a rookie, I'd say that's pretty good. So here we got 2 to go. 2 to go. Watch him. Speed it up. And this is another one. This is a big run by Aaron Jones, as you can see, as I state obvious things. So his job on this one, where we've seen him kind of get the inside position and block out. His job here, get inside, take the safety. You got this too high look. That's your job. So if it breaks deep, I'm taking that safety. So he gets inside, and Jones kind of taking those guys there. Looks like, and he's just going to kind of angle up, and he's looking to take that safety. And that's a tough assignment. And he's just not able to get there in time. He slow played a little bit. Looking at him lined up, and he just cannot get there. And then when he does stop, I mean that's a tough ass there. When he does stop, he's not able to do anything with him, and he runs right by him. So again, I don't think, and we'll watch it from the other angle. I don't think it's a bad rep. Again, that is less than perfect. I love, by the way, we'll look at this just real quick. I love Rodgers on this, who hands the ball off, and then as Jones kind of gets turned around, who's there and ends up over here and breaking through. Rodgers just running with him down the length of the field there. There he goes, chase him down. So again, on the Watson perspective, it's something, we call that a learning experience, I guess. But again, knows his assignment, is a willing blocker. He just kind of slow played a little bit, was not able to get there in time. And then when there was a change of direction, he was not in a good position to account for that. So probably not the greatest of rep there, but he knows what he's doing, even if he just kind of just whiffs on this one. So again, not the best, not the best there, but you are going to see those. This is the last one. This is the last one. What a fun journey we've been on together. All right, there he is there. Watch this, and we'll see what happens. Inside zone tag is what I've got on this. That's a good one. That's a pretty good one. Fire off. Again, do you know what you're doing? He's looking like he is going to angle in, take that guy. Hard to tell if he's eyeing up that guy or not, and that guy just kind of gets past him, so then the assignment shifts. Either way, I think that's what he's doing. He's trying to block that guy maybe there, and it's not there, so you move up second level. So here he goes, block down, get up there. Now this is one, again, things to clean up, something that maybe you like to see cleaned up, is when there's an engagement. See right here, he makes first contact and gets his hands inside the body of Watson. If you do that, then you're kind of in control of the rep. Roughly speaking, you get your hands inside, then you can kind of control, all right, where am I going? Where's the guy going? Can I read? Can I shed? So you kind of want to get your hands in first. When the defender does that, gets his hands inside the body of Watson, Watson still then kind of recovers, is able to kind of brace for impact there, drive him a little bit, and still drive backwards. So I said that was a good one when I started. Well, still seems pretty good. Even if, again, you kind of want, you would like maybe Watson to dictate that a little more. At the same time, you don't want to get him up out over his skis, but he does do a good job, even with the hands inside first. There he goes, get him lined up. He goes to see, instead of that punch, instead of going inside, goes outside with the hands. The defender is now able to kind of shed, but Watson is able to kind of still drive that a little, push him back, the guy gets in on tackle. So end of the day, as we are nearing an hour here that I've been talking at your faces about this stuff, here's what I'll say from Watson's first day and looking at all this stuff. And I'll go ahead and we'll go full screen, and you can see my big dumb face as I kind of make these grand pronouncements here. After going through all these plays, I'll say pass game, special talent. We saw that on display. The fact that he's able to win with speed, able to win with power, able to win off the line, beat some of those jams. His route running, the nuance in his route running, we saw that with some of the sink on that dig where he's able to kind of create space at the top of the route. We saw that with his second touchdown where he's able to fake the outside and run over the top to influence the two defenders there to set them up, so he's able to get that touchdown. The stuff like the back shoulder throw, that one back shoulder where Watson beat him anyway, something to keep an eye on going forward. So we knew coming in, special speed. That was on display. I think the nuance and route running was on full display on the stuff I just talked about. And as far as the run game, I think he's as advertised. I think we saw some stuff that sweep around the outside, the one that Nyman, didn't get the block on Parsons on. Not a knock on Nyman, just as like a touchstone on that specific play because we spent all the time with it. That showed to be kind of what he's capable of. That crack again knows what he's doing, is capable of doing it, is willing to do it. That crackdown, hold the edge, open stuff up. Still a little bit of stuff to clean up there, as we saw the kind of some of the late hands, getting out of position, either running himself out of position or slow playing some stuff. There's some polish there that's needed in the run game. But every rookie wide receiver needs polish in the run game, and most need more than this. So when we're looking at the stuff that he does well in the run game, from what I've seen, he seems already, as we kind of knew, again, that was one of the pluses on him out of NDSU. That's one of the pluses of his game, that he's going to come in more advanced in the run game than a lot of the other rookie wide receivers. And I think that was certainly on display. Some things to clean up. Yeah, of course, there's going to be things to clean up there, but he's already I'd say if not a plus blocker, like maybe a slightly below average as far as league wide in there. But I think he's an above average blocker already. And he's going to add some repertoire to his game there as well. So if you watched all this, first of all, question your sanity, I guess, but also thank you for spending an hour with me walking through these Christian Watson plays. I feel like I have a greater understanding of him and what he was able to do against the Cowboys beyond just the splash plays, just by taking a chance to dig into these 18 plays. So I hope you feel, although that was not a waste of time, that you feel a little wiser, maybe a little more informed about Christian Watson, and maybe give you some stuff to look at going forward. Maybe coming into this Titans game, stuff to look at, stuff to carry forward. Does anything of this, are they using him in a way that looks similar? Does any of this look familiar? Is this in line with what I expect of him? All those questions. I'm excited to watch him again in the Titans game. I hope he stays healthy for the whole season, because I do think he can be something truly, truly special based on what we've seen. I have talked too much. I need to go to bed. Thank you all so much for watching. I guess, I don't know, if you want to see more of these longer ones, let me know. If you never want to see one of these again, also let me know. Thank you as always. I will talk to you next time.